While your users have the ability to download and install the Office 365 Pro Plus suite on their own, oftentimes, especially in your mid-sized to your larger organizations, you're going to want to do a managed IT push of the product. Absent that, every single user in your organization would wind up downloading and installing it from the internet, and of course that can put a big strain on your infrastructure. In order to do that, there's a few things that are necessary, and one of those is the Office Deployment Tool. We're going to take a look at how you actually go out, download the Office Deployment Tool, set up a configuration file, and then get the actual installation bits downloaded to a local server where you can then push them out over your internal network rather than everybody downloading them from the internet. In order to do that, you have to go through to the Office Admin Center, and from there, if we go into our settings section and go into our services and add-ins, we're going to scroll down here until we get to our software download settings section there. We're just going to go in here and have our Office download settings right there. We'll click into that. This is the same place where you would go if you wanted to control your user installations, but instead we're going to click on this manually deploy user software option. So I'm going to open that up. It's going to open up a new page. And it's actually taking me to a page that looks sort of like I have the ability to control my user installations, and that's still the case there. But if you scroll all the way down, you'll actually see a part near the bottom there where you can go through and learn how to actually deploy software manually. So I'm going to go click on that one. It's going to open up a new page which takes me to the 365 download site. If I scroll down, I'll have the ability to get to the Office Deployment Tool. The Office 2016 Deployment Tool is the one I want. 2013 is showing up still in this tool right now, but that's being deprecated, so it'll disappear soon enough. So I'm going to click on the Office Deployment Tool here. That's going to open up a new page, which is just a Microsoft download site. And I'm going to actually download the tool. I'm going to go ahead and just save that tool for now, right? And we'll say view our downloads. There it is. Now what I want to do is I'm going to open up a place where I have the ability to actually extract that tool. So let me open up my Explorer. We'll go to our C drive here. And in the C drive, I'm just going to create a new folder, and we'll just call it our 365 bits. And that's where we're going to download it. Now, as long as I'm doing that, I might as well go ahead and share this folder out, right? So I want to share this folder out. So I'll go ahead and right-click on that, and we'll share this with everyone. Because ultimately, when you're going to push the bits out from here, that's what you'll need to do. So we'll share this with everyone. And for right now, let's go ahead and add that in, and I'll just give it read-write for now. We probably want to change that to just read-only once we get everything squared away. I always like to just verify that that works, so I'll go into my properties, and I'll go to my sharing, and I'll check to make sure that my share is there. And while I'm there, I'll also go ahead and copy that. That way I can use that buffer a little bit later. So I've got my folder already created there. Then I'm going to go back to my downloads. Right, I've got my downloads here, and I'm going to go ahead and run that installation. Accept the end user license agreement there and continue. And then decide where I want to extract it. We'll open it up and put it in that 365 bits folder. Good, folder's ready. Going to open it up, and what I actually downloaded was two files. A setup.exe, which is just an executable file that allows me to either download the bits or to push the bits out for that configuration of our actual Office 365 Pro Plus suite, as well as a configuration XML file, which is a sample file to help you to make some decisions about what you're going to control with this Office 365 Pro Plus environment. I'm going to open that up, and we'll just take a quick look at that and maybe make a few changes here. So I'll open that up just in Notepad, something simple. Get a few comments up here in the top there. What I want to do is I want to get rid of some of these comments down here. This is saying I want to download the Office Pro Plus suite in 32-bit, which is the default install, by the way, right? And I'm going to use the current channel, but I could change that to deferred if I wanted to, right? But it's also going to download Visio Pro, but I don't really need that, right? So let me go ahead and comment that section out so I don't do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Control-C out of that one, or Control-X that one to get rid of it, and then paste it right back in. That's the open comment. Then I'm going to Control-X out of that one, and I'm going to Control-Paste right back in. So I've commented out the Visio part, so now it won't download that. I want to make sure that we're controlling our updates, which we are. I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, I don't need to have them accept the end user license. We'll go ahead and accept it for them automatically, and we're going to auto-activate the product for them so they'll have the ability to use it. Great, so I've made those changes. Let's go in here and actually save a few things. We'll save that up there. And just for the sake of argument here, I'm just going to put this back in here just so we can see what will happen if you have an issue there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and save that for now. Close it down. The next step is to actually download the bits from Microsoft. In order to do that, I'm going to open up a command prompt. All right, so I'm going to just shift right click and I'm going to say open up a command window here. I'm going to run setup.exe. Then I'm going to use a switch called download. And that says go out to Microsoft and download those bits. Where am I going to download them to? I'm going to put in that actual share path that we just created, right? And let's go out there and grab that share path again just to make sure that we get it right. There we go. Copy that, paste it in, and the configuration.xml file that I'm going to use, and I'm going to hit the enter key. And look, it can't install it, right? And look what the errors are saying. Is your internet working properly? Do you have enough free hard drive space? Most times that's not the issue. Usually you have internet, usually you have plenty of hard drive space. It's usually the case that you're actually having an error in your configuration XML file, and that error is stopping the process from actually running. And in this case I actually did. I intentionally put in an extra comment so that it would show up as an error just so you could see that opportunity. So let's go in here and actually take a look at the notepad. And I'm going to get rid of that unclosed comment there. And that should take care of that problem for us, and we'll save that file. Close it down. Go back over to our command prompt, and I'll just hit the up arrow to bring that command back up. And there you go, just so you can see what it looks. Make sure you can see where we're doing it and how we're doing it, right? We're downloading it there. And here's the folder that we're doing. As soon as I start this running, right, what you will actually see it do is it'll create a folder. As you can see, it created the Office folder, and it starts downloading those bits. Now, it'll take anywhere from 15 minutes to, I've seen sometimes up to 35 minutes for it to download everything, okay? The truth is, even if you have lots of bandwidth, Microsoft sometimes throttles these downloads, so it may still take a little while. So don't be frustrated, but keep in mind, we're only downloading this the one time right now. And then, of course, if we wanted to manage updates, we might download it other times as well. But for the magic of TV, I went ahead and downloaded it. So we actually have it available to us already in an Office 365 directory here, right? And you can see here it is. And I'm just going to go out here and show you the properties. And the reason I'm looking at the properties for this, notice that I've got about 1.46 gigs of files downloaded. I've got, in this case, 10 files, 2 folders. If you have your configuration XML file incorrect, but it's not so incorrect that it'll still download, sometimes it will download, but this file size will wind up being less than 900 megs. So if you find that the folders in here are less than 900 megs, there's a good chance that you still have a problem with your configuration XML file, and you may want to go back and revisit that, right? Now then, now that you've got it installed, you've downloaded the bits, you're ready to actually install it. You're going to actually go out there, and we'll just go ahead and open up a new command prompt right here. Oops, it would help if I'm holding the Shift key instead of the Control key. There we go. Right, and instead of using the download switch, setup.exe here, right? Instead of using the download switch, now instead what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the configure switch. Right, we're going to configure it, and this is the installation method, right? I would then put in the path for that configuration XML file, you know, where in our case, you know, we'll say, you know, my PC / you know, in this case it was the Office 365 directory, and then we'll put in configuration.xml, and that would install it. Now I'm not actually going to run this now because it would install Office 365 on this machine. Instead, what you would do is actually take that command, put it into a GPO, maybe if you're going to run it for a software installation through group policy. Maybe you use those bits and you'll push them out through System Center Configuration Manager or through Windows Intune or something like that. As I mentioned, you may wind up having some issues with your XML file. And for a lot of IT pros, working in XML doesn't come second nature to us, right? Building those files isn't something we typically do. There happens to exist out there on the internet, in GitHub, a wonderful location, and I'm going to take you out there right now to show you, for the client configuration. This is the configuration XML editor for Office 365, right? So you have the ability to go out there to the Office GitHub IT scripts environment, and we can start actually building an XML file right from here. So in this case, I want to use the Office 365 Pro Plus, the 32-bit edition. For most people, that's the right edition to use. You have to have a real business need to do the 64-bit, right? And we're going to decide which update channel we want to do, whether it's current, deferred, first release, current, which one you want, right? And I'll just go and click here and I say, all right, I want to add the product. And look what it's done. It's now started creating that XML file for me. Well, are there any programs that I don't want to be part of this? Oh, you know what? We don't need Access. We don't use that in our organization. Maybe I don't want people having Publisher installed there. I don't want people having, well, everything else. We'll just go ahead. Just like that, it adds them in for me. It takes care of that, right? If I wanted to go out there and have the installation, where are we going to actually install this from? I can go out there and put in, my PC share location and add that in. And it'll add that into the actual environment. So you can go through and make all these decisions and then copy your XML file straight out, rather than having to try to create one on your own if you're not familiar with how to use XML. So it's a great tool for you to actually reference for that XML creation.